Hello? Great. I can use this to switch between slides, I imagine.
You just arrow through it. So. That's no problem. We can just.
Okay,
just
just
arrow.
press it. Okay.
Clean up.
Okay. Don't worry about that. So, hello everyone. I'm Jilly, the cognitive software engineer from Orange, and
Hi, I'm Eric Honegers, solution engineer from Raza.
we're very excited to share with you how Orange used the open source technology Raza to develop our chatbot. Let's go back to the beginning of the story. So our B2C department decided to develop a chatbot to help answering questions around customer accounts such as billing problems, commercial problems, and we also want help clients in first-line technical troubleshooting, such as with internet issues, television issues, and mobile phones. So basically, we have two things to do. The first one is to choose a customizable chatbot framework, and then create a chatbot ecosystem so that we can benefit from a generic chatbot framework. In the meantime, we can have full control over sensitive data, UI presentation, and the transfer between different chatbots and even to a human agent. So this is the solution we came up with. I will talk you through this architecture through an example. So here we have our client who has some technical issues, internet issues basically. So she just opened the Orange page and talked to our bot that, hey, I got some internet issues. So this message at the first place will be sent to Botman, which is a middleware of the whole system. Botman is our internal project who's in charge of API calls, security, front end, and session management. Then Botman will pass this message to our Raza bot. And inside of Raza bot, the first thing we'd like to do is to identify the problem, right? So we will use the component of natural language understanding to understand the intent of the user. And then this intent will be precised in the dialogue management part, which means that the bot will look at the examples he had learned before to determine which kind of a solution we should provide. And then we send this message back to Botman, and then Botman will present it to our user. As you can see that in the same time during the conversation, many other services are launched. Here we can see that the conversation and the logs saved in our database, which is MongoDB we use. And in the meantime, we also want to monitor how the conversation goes using Mantis and Grafana. If there's a human transfer to a human agent, we will use LiveEngage. For the RazaBot part, it's directly managed by Orange team. And we use GitLab to do the version control. So this is a whole picture, how it looks like. And for the Raza part, why we have chosen this solution. So it's based on 4 parts. Firstly, it's open source, of course, very important. And then it's customizable with the NLU and dialect management evaluation tools. And another point that we really appreciate is that Raza have a very active research team. And as you know, that artificial intelligence is a field where the research is really active. The best algorithm and methods considered the best of today, maybe the not best of tomorrow. So we really appreciate the performance of Raza research team to bring the research of tomorrow. And then the next point is that Rasa allows us to run on our infrastructure with full control over data. And this enables transfer learning between different chatbots. And last but not least, it fits smoothly into our existing workflow and IT systems. And I'll leave Eric to tell you more about Rasa.
Yeah, thank you. So what we're doing at Rasa is our mission here is to make AI assistants that work for everyone. And the only way we get there is through the open source nature of our software. That is so important, so vital for us and for our users to be able to understand exactly why the chatbot is making the decisions it's making. It's not a black box. It allows the users to actually make changes, bring in their own models, and be really flexible. And also contribute back, give it back to the project if we make a mistake. You know, we're a software development company. No software development company is perfect. So having an active, open source, project is really important to us and to the people that use our software. And then, of course, the next pillar being community. So we have a very active community forum where it's not just the folks at Rasa that are actually helping you, it's the users are helping each other. And we think that's just so important here. And the work that obviously we'll speak a little more about that Orange has done with Rasa, it's a really great partnership there. And then lastly, the applied research is just such an important thing here about being thought leaders in terms of where this path will go and where this journey will go as we think about what starts as a chatbot and goes to a contextual assistant and then can maybe even become an automated assistant further down the road. So just to give you a sense of how large this project is, we're about 10 million downloads and growing very quickly and exponentially every year. So this is just a testament to the open source nature of the project, and the community itself is just really, it's huge for the traction that we get and helps push this forward. And there are some information statistics around there around industries that are open source and projects that are open source tend to move about 10 times faster than closed source projects. And that's, to the point earlier, that what's good today may not be sufficient tomorrow. And by having this be open and have so many different users across different industries and different downloads here, help us push this along. And it's just a vital part to what we do. And I think the conversational space, it's kind of funny. The users very simply tell you what they want. And it's just a matter of listening. And I think that's both from the development side for the people that are developing the chatbots, but it's also for us, it's for everyone. We live in a world where everyone wants to talk a lot, and it's everyone's responsibility to listen. And so by listening, we can really move this forward. So I'll speak really briefly about kind of the vision that's being set here, and we see it from two sides. So from the end user side, being able to go from something that was kind of command-based and just more manual to something that now we're kind of at this level 2, level 3 interaction point now, and it really becomes pleasant in some ways to be able to interact with what is actually an automated system on the other side. It understands what you're talking about. It keeps context within a conversation, and this vision setting and this development through the open source community and the feedback that we're receiving from real life application has just been huge. And on the development side, what we see is gone from what was a very manual rules-based system to now what we dubbed as conversation-driven development, where you're listening to your users, you're listening to everyone along the conversation and along the lines, and then making changes to your bot and deploying that. And this system and this means of developing becomes more automated across time.
So I'll give you a big picture about how the conversation-driven development goes at Orange, how we apply this method. First of all, we gonna collect some conversations and user feedback from production. And then we will analyze how this conversation goes and to measure the effectiveness of the chatbot. In the same time, we try to find the key elements to improve it, the weak parts, which conversation we didn't go as we want. For example, we find something about our troubleshooting chatbot that during the Labbox reset process, usually the customers they just drop out, and we try to find why, and then we understand because the bot explanation wasn't clear enough, so we will just edit, correct it, and update the training data to improve this process, to improve our model, our chatbot. And then we will pass to the next step, which is to test it, to test on a specialized data set so that we can measure if the change we have made didn't lead to any regression, and it does meet our expectations. And then we will just do some testing in a development environment, pre-development environment, and then deliver it to our real users. And after the deployment, we will come back to the first phase again and renew the whole cycle. So all this process is really focused on reading conversations and listen to users, as Eric mentioned before. So this is how the things should be done if we really want to give a good chatbot over time and improve it as we can as much. I know this sounds like easy when we just hear about it. You just do A, B, C, and then you will have a great chatbot. But in a real life, but we both know, especially as a developer, we know that there's so many things, troubles, issues we can conquer, and something is just a small detail who can block us for days maybe. And this could be really frustrating, and this is how Orange Rasa community came to life. Its community allows us, especially the internal Rasa users, to share project experiences and discuss technical issues together. And this community is created by Richard Popa, qui est avec nous aussi aujourd'hui. Okay, and today it has grown to over 150 participants over time, and we have meetings every 6 to 8 weeks around technical presentations, and of course, Rasa is a part of our community who share with us new features on the product, and we try to give them some feedback really quickly.
And I think we really appreciate the partnership here and what has come to just grow and be amazing. And I think there's really three elements that have been key for this. And the first has been communication. So giving consistent support from the Rasa side to Orange. That it means, and it's communication. It's Slack. It's having direct access from the developers inside in the user base into our actual engineers, be able to give real-time feedback, having Rasa just being on a constant release cycle. So every 1 to 2 weeks, we're pushing out a new version or a new patch that will maybe unstick one of these problems that has arisen. As you can imagine, when we test something in a lab and we think about how this may be used, someone in production might be using it in a way that we've never imagined before. And so being able to receive that, and I don't know if you have some examples you might want to give of how this worked.
Yeah. For example, during the migration from Rasa 1 to Rasa 2, Rasa Rasa engineers, Rasa teams were really following us, and they try to make the migration as smoothly as possible. We also find some bugs when we try to save logs to Mandis and Grafana, but it was solved really quickly. So it's really reassuring to have editor support, and which allows us to run applications in production securely. Yeah. So I'll move to the next point, which is enablement, which allows us to help developers to develop their skills quickly. We do this in 2 ways. The first way is that we try to organize workshops for Rasa beginners, so that they can just learn essential things really quickly, and so that they can try to develop things, and this is more motivating. The second way is that to make sure they have instant feedback when they have questions, and they have direct access to Rasa engineers just to get the best response as soon as possible. So this allows us to do this really quickly. I can also give you an anecdote of this case, is that we have a developer who didn't know anything about chatbot 2 months ago, and now he just developed a chatbot, an internal chatbot, which will be in production in 1 month. He got great help with our internal community as well as with Rasa engineers. So this is amazing to see how things can be accelerated with great help, well organized.
And yes, and then the last being collaboration. So just again, getting real world feedback in terms of what's working, not working, wish lists in terms of where they want to see the product go, because without people actively telling us and us actively listening, we won't know where to go with the product and the project. We're going in a direction that we're leading towards, but obviously there's things that are needed to make these bots and these contextual assistants useful in the real world.
Yeah, so this list is important in long term, both for Rasa and for us, that we count on this list to make our life easier as developer, as project manager. So we try to collaborate together to make things better.
And just from the Rasa side, we're always looking for people to help us out and join the open source movement that we have going here. That 10 million, we'd love to see that move to 20 million and beyond in terms of downloads and people actively using it. The community, you can find us on our forum and whatnot. We have 700 plus contributors there, or 14,000, sorry, community members, 700 contributors to the actual open source project. And of course, our applied research, we're doing a lot of R&D, and we're always looking for smart, talented, and motivated people to come join the project. So that's my little pitch.
Thanks, Eric, and thank you for your time. If you have any questions or would like a demonstration, we will at booth number A20, and we will be there from 10:30 to 11:30. 1:30 to 2:30. So we will be more than happy to see you there. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for this great example of collaboration and open source driving innovation. That's just great. Thank you for that. We'll take just one question because we're a bit limited, and then we'll have the break. So, question, please.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I have actually 2 questions. I'm sorry. Yeah, quick. The first one is, how are you initiating the process of learning? And the second one is, for multiple languages, do you need to restart the process of learning from scratch each time or not?
I'll take the first one, which is how we initiate the learning. Is like in the beginning of the project, how we do. Basically, first things we should do is to collect the user input, how people express this problem in the first place, and so that you can take care of the NLU part. And then the second part, our advice is to just get in production as soon as possible. If you can just provide a really simple one, just a few intents, a few typical questions you would like to handle in your chatbot, and then just give some response and take it to in production. And then with the feedback, as we can see here, we can just find a lot of problems which would be surprising. For the, just to take the example of troubleshooting chatbot, because before going in production, we were told that we were supposed to only handle people with internet connection issues. But in the end, there were various kind of questions. It's really wild. It's like email questions, television questions, and you just can't predict. And we should also note that the human language is so magic, and there are so many ways to express it. So our advice is just to collect some data to train it and go to production as soon as possible. So this for the first question. Eric, you would like something to?
On time, or we can take the second question offline.
I'm sure we will have to stop there, but please discuss after the talk. And once again, so you can people can ask you questions at your booth,
Yeah.
Orange booth. So
It's 8:20.
thank you very much. Tozit booth, Orange, not Orange. Thank you.